The Rockets beat the Warriors 115 to 107. Rudy is joining us. Riv is here. He is sacrificing sleep tonight. And Drew should hop in any minute. He should be on here on a live reaction at any minute. The Rockets are about to do the unthinkable. Come back from a 3-1 deficit. Now, if it happens, that would mean Steph Curry has blown two 3-1 leads in his career, something that Magic Johnson has never done. He can't be considered a go point guard if he blows the lead. I'm sorry. And he went 1 for 7 in the fourth quarter. It was a 2-point game in the fourth quarter. Riv, talk to me. Steph Curry choked. The Warriors played bad. I mean, this is the greatest point guard of all time.
Yeah. I like how you tried to add undisputed. He was never ever gonna be undisputed. Yeah, no, it's a tough look, especially with the way they've gone out. Coming off a really tough, hard fought game 4 win. You felt like Golden State was going to probably take it this game. Game 5 did feel like the Houston game where they were going to come out. They're going to be firing all cylinders in their home court game. But this one was the game you felt like they'd take it. And I felt like Houston has been able to just control the glass all series. But a lot of the times where they lost, you saw on the offensive side, they couldn't get those extra possessions or capitalize on the extra possessions, I should say. But this game they did. They capitalized. They were able to hit shots. They were able to cause turnovers. They went on a 20-5 run or something like that in the fourth quarter, where defensively they locked in. Me and Joel was talking about a little bit before. We thought they got some open looks, but it's the physical tax of constantly taking long to get into the sets. Getting shots at the end of a shot clock. Going through all them screens, fighting through all that physicality, and then you finally get the shot. You're gassed. You're exhausted. And Houston, this was a Houston Rockets game. And they played to their physicality. Steven Adams was able to hit clutch free throws to where he can stay on the floor. Houston was able to get on the offensive glass on those free throws. For Golden State, they got to figure out what works for them. They got to figure out what lineups work for them. How can they, control the glass or at least not make it as abysmal as it's been the last 2 games. And, you felt in this game, Houston had control, but Golden State always kind of kept trying to fight back in it, But Houston kind of laid the last punch in, the end game, and they won the game.
Yeah, man. Steven Adams, MVP, bro. And Steph Curry, your GOAT's getting outplayed by Fred VanVleet, Riv. Hey, I told you, I
in the NBA Finals 2019, you remember Game 6 closeout, Fred VanVleet is just scorching Steph. I mean, he's the Steph Curry killer. Magic Johnson never had a guy like that.
It is definitely crazy because Steph averaged 30 that series, and Fred VanVleet was no doubt the killer. No, Fred's been after game 2, I want to say Fred's been pretty much great. First 2 games were rough. But after that, he's been able to hit the 3 ball. He's been able to control pace. And Amen Thompson, he's been great over his last 3 games. The first couple games, you saw the jitters, you saw the experience not being there. He was a little bit too rushed. Now he's been really good. Jalen Green's kind of going to be what he's going to be, but Sengun's been solid. Steven Adams, like you mentioned, MVP. This team has been hitting on all cylinders.
So
even though Green's
changed, Rudy, I'll let you go. Jalen Green not playing super well, but are you going to say that he was pretty good defensively today, right?
I was going to say he was still effective. Not on offense.
To an extent. Just drawing double teams. I feel like Jalen Green, he's only had one good game in the series. Let's just be honest. Let's keep it a spade is a spade. He hasn't been able to handle double teams at all. Let's talk about the biggest difference in this series, because I feel like the biggest difference in this series has been that the Rockets have fully leaned in to the double big lineup. Through the first 3 games of this series, the amount of minutes that Sengun and Steven Adams were on the court together was 25 minutes. In this game alone, they were on the court for 21 minutes together. They had a 21.7 net rating, a 112. No, I'm getting it. Yeah, 112.2 offensive rating, 90.5 defensive rating, and a plus minus of +8. And heading into game 6 with the double big lineup, Sengun and Steven Adams have had a plus 33.6 point differential. And I just think the size and the physicality that they bring on the court, they have a rim protector out there when Steven Adams is there. he's a connective player and he's a good passer, and they're able to play well off each other, especially Şengün. It's been much easier for him to play with a real big out there. And then I feel like Amen Thompson has really come to life over the last 3 games where he's averaging 18 or more points per game, and the defense has been there. The Rockets have really showed up Golden State the last 2 games. Game 5 wasn't close at all. Game 6 was close. It was a 2-point game heading into the fourth quarter, but then they ran away with it. And I feel like right now the Rockets just look like a much more physical, young, athletic team. And the Warriors, there's a real chance they lose this series.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we're watching a bit of a storyline here where we see the young teams kind of taking over. You have Minnesota, who just beat a team like the Lakers, which Luka's probably probably Luka and Reeves, but for the most part, LeBron and stuff like that. And now you see this Rockets team who, coming in, the experience gap was there, but they've, responded with noise, and now they're making it game 7 on their home court. And I think you can walk into that game right there and think, experience shouldn't hurt us. We've shown in these back-to-back games where the experience doesn't matter. We've come to play. We've matured up.
Yeah, the Rockets, man, they deserve a lot of credit for getting it back home to Houston. I think all we need to do is just play the way we did today. Like Fred VanVleet, when he was getting doubled, which I'm not sure why they kept sending those doubles at him, but he was creating out of it. The guys were hitting shots. Steven Adams was awesome. He is getting all the rebounds. He has great hands. He was blocking shots. Like, I mean, the Warriors didn't close the game well, but this was a game where I had that feeling like they're gonna get us eventually, but we just kept at it. We looked energized and they looked defeated. Like I don't think it's crazy to say we can go out there and blow them out in game 7, bro. Like that's how confident I'm feeling right now.
Now, Rudy, did you pick the Rockets to win this series before it started?
So I made 2 picks. The mind was saying Warriors in 6. The heart was saying Rockets in 7. So I'm not gonna. I do think the Warriors should have won this series, but you know how that goes. That's just biasness, you know.
Okay, so what that's telling me is that you didn't pick the Rockets. You doubted the
No,
Rockets. Your heart picked them, but your
I
mind
didn't.
picked the Warriors.
Yeah, I didn't expect this from Fred VanVleet, bro. And we saw the first
Nobody
few
did.
games. He was not good. Like, and he's
Nobody did.
been, yeah,
He's averaging 27 over the last 3 games on 87% true shooting. That is not going to be sustainable. But I asked you that question because the man of the hour, Andrew Velez, who's popping into the stream, he did pick the
No.
Rockets to win this series. And going back to Houston for a game 7. I mean, Drew, number one, I want to tell you this. I love what you replied to my tweet because it's almost like, players that play bad in the fourth quarter after playing an extensive amount of minutes, maybe it's not all about shape. Luka, unplayable in the fourth, Dell said, because he struggled in the fourth. What about Curry? 1 for 7? Is he out of shape to you? Is he out of shape in the fourth?
I mean, I guess by Dell's logic, yes, he is out of shape. Let me give some leeway to Chef Curry. That thumb obviously isn't great. However, he tried the best that he could to overcome that in these first 3 quarters. However, Rudy Roodster, welcome to the show. I'm floored. I'm actually astonished that you did not pick your Houston Rockets. Now, I say that because you and I have had our back and forth about the Houston Rockets. You know I'm a rider. You've given me my due diligence. You've given me my respect here. However, I'm shocked that in a series where I get it, it's Golden State. They're a scary opponent. You're talking to a LeBron fan. I understand they put fear in my heart. However, the Houston Rockets are different. They've been acting different the entire 2025 calendar year. And against the Golden State Warriors, I understand they're an amazing team. Chef Curry, Jimmy Butler. I mean, I feel like the dude averages 15 free throws every single playoff game. It's outrageous, and he doesn't miss. It's crazy. However, these Rockets don't die. 3-1 down. It does not matter. Fred VanVleet, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I can never apologize enough to you because what you've done to me has changed my life. What an absolute amazing performance we've seen from Fred over the last 3 games. He has been unbelievable. And when they lost to go down 3-1 and we got a Federico masterclass, I thought, all right, it's done. Even Fred at his best, the Rockets are losing. I can't with the Rockets. I'm heartbroken. And then game 5 and game 6. I mean, I'm overjoyed. I love this Houston Rockets team. It's going to be a dogfight in game 7. Rudy, I respect the hell out of that. I could see a blowout happening. I don't know if I can see a blowout happening because I respect the Warriors, Jimmy, Chef Curry, Steve Kerr. We'll see what he decides to do. But Steven Adams, as much as Fred VanVleet is the MVP, Steven Adams' impact on this series has completely changed this series. The fact that he was hitting his free throws, he was able to stay on the court, he was huge for them and going ahead and getting this win. What a game we watched. And I texted you guys throughout. I had a feeling that Steph was just going to find a way to go ahead and steal this game from the Rockets and rip my heart out. But Joel, maybe he's just not in shape.
Maybe that's a possibility. I feel like there's so many interesting storylines and subplots to talk about within this series. One of the most fascinating ones is the fact that the Rockets, a franchise that has run into Steph Curry in the Harden era, never able to beat him. And the Warriors dynasty lasts so long that the new up and coming rebuilding Rockets come and they're the team to beat them. The Rockets come back all around, getting their payback for all those years of misery, all those heartbreaks. I mean, Rudy, how are you feeling if the Rockets can get this done in game 7? How are you feeling that the Rockets are getting their revenge on a team that cheated in 2018 conference finals game 7?
Hey, I told y'all earlier, I'm not even nervous anymore, bro. It's been 10 years. But before 2015, whenever we faced the Warriors, when it was still Harden and Howard, we would always play good. And then Curry just broke out to the MVPs, owned us ever since. I'm not nervous. I'm not scared. I want to see these dudes. And Drew, I owe you an apology. I have a terrible memory. You did pick the Rockets to win this series, so I respect that. And I also owe Fred an apology because
Me too.
last year I had to defend him a lot because people said he's overpaid. He probably is, but we had to spend the money, so we gave it to him. I've been calling him Fred Van Cheeks all year.
Are Rockets gonna get this revenge, or do you trust the Warriors to? They did it in the Harden era. They're gonna do it in the Şengün and JG and Adams and Fred VanVleet era too. They're gonna
and Amon. Amon was big tonight.
Yeah, I trust Steph going in. I trust Jimmy going in. Yeah, I still think the Warriors are going to win.
Listen, JG's impact is bigger than the box score.
No,
what was JG tonight? A plus what? A plus 20 game high.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I checked.
The intangibles were there tonight. The effort was there tonight.
He had some effort defensively. Yeah, he was there defensively.
You know what that shows me? That's the stuff of a winner. That's you know what? When it's not your night scoring the basketball, what can you do in other ways to impact the game?
You know,
I was moved tonight by the Houston Rockets, gentlemen.
You should have been. And the most fascinating thing about predicting this series is that we all thought if the Rockets had any chance, playoff JG has to show up. He has to play consistent. He has to play like April runs.
Wrong.
I didn't say all that.
Wrong.
I didn't say all that.
Wrong.
I said, who was the X factor?
Wrong.
Who was the X factor in this series, Riv? Talk to him.
An all-star.
Tell him.
I said Amon. That's what I said.
And Amen has been a big factor, but for the most part, everybody that I was looking at when I made a tweet and I asked people, okay, what's your hottest take for the playoffs? It's Jalen Green figures it out and he's going to prove to the world that he's awesome. He's great. And the Rockets are going to be so awesome. Really, it's been Steven Adams. that has been the reason why the Rockets are going to win this series is because of Steven Adams. And it made me think about how we're going back to how basketball was always played. There was a point in time where teams leaned into small ball, having a small center, having a center that can space the floor and shoot. But you look across the league, the Rockets make this comeback, force a game 7 because of the double big lineup of Şengün and Steven Adams. OKC dominates the West with a double big lineup of Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein. And although they didn't play the entire season together because of Chet's injury, they have been dominant together. The Minnesota Timberwolves made the conference finals with Gobert and Cat and look amazing with Gobert and Julius Randle. The Cavaliers have a historic season with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. We're talking about a big men revolution again in the NBA. It's coming back full circle. The bigs are back. And if you don't have bigs, you're not going to succeed at the highest of heights. Even the Celtics, they have Porzingis and Horford. They have that option to throw at you. And it's coming back in the NBA. I think small ball, while it's still going to be a fixture in the league, double bigs, having bigs is back.